Hi, this is August Champlin with a demo of how to integrate symphonic choirs into Sibelius. First thing you want to do is launch Sibelius as administrator, so run it as administrator. If you don't, when you try to make modifications to Word Builder, your system will crash, so be sure to run as administrator. Okay, so here I am in Quick Start within Sibelius, and I'm going to click on Choir SATB. I'm not going to change the page size or the house style or add or change any instruments. I'll click on 4/4 time, and I'll make the tempo andante for this example. Keep the key signature in C, so I'll just call this a Symphonic Choirs test. Add my name, August Champlin, and a little copyright, just for fun. And click Create. Okay, so I have a score. Now it's blank, and in order to get Symphonic Choirs to play back correctly, I need to go to Play, go to Setup, and actually load up the sample player. So we have Play. You need to load that 4 times. Once for each of the voices. So once for soprano, once for alto, once for tenor, once for bass. Now you'll notice that the sound set fields has QL pianos in here. We don't want that. I'm not sure what will happen on yours. It's just whatever the most recently used sound set was. So if you have sound sets and you use them, the most recently used one will be here probably. So go ahead and disable them so you have no sound sets. We'll make our own in this example. You probably don't want to call it blank, so let's give it a new name. We will call it SATB Choir Test. I believe this is the 4th test I've made, so I'm just practicing for this video. So let's go ahead and name that. Alright, so we have 4 instances of play, and let's go ahead and click on the manual sound set. And now what we need to do is actually configure play. So let's click on the Show button. Up comes Play. Click on Browser. And from the Sopranos Word Builder menu, under Multis, under Symphonic Choirs, click on Soprano Word Builder Dynamic Mod. And go ahead and load that, double click. So while that's loading, let me just make a few comments. You obviously have some choices here. Dynamic Mod or Modulation Wheel, Hard Mod, No Vibrato, Soft Mod, VBF. I have no idea what that means, and VBM. Can't remember. Probably read about it once and forgot about it. So anyways, why did I choose dynamic modulation? I've experimented with all of these within Sibelius and actually with Finale when I used to use that, and I think this gives me the cleanest results with the fewest artifacts and weird anomalies that I can't understand or explain. It just seems to work better. Alright, so go ahead and load that up and then click on Player. We want to add reverb to it. You can use the default reverb of East West Hall, but I prefer Choral Hall for Symphonic Choirs when it's just alone in SATB mode. And I'm going to click on Reverb. Now, notice that there are 6 channels loaded in when you load up a voice. And you could, in theory, add reverb to each channel by clicking on Master, and it would let you, do that. But I'm not a fan of that, because what happens is, let's say that all the vowels, generally, I think, if I'm not mistaken, are on channel 1. So they get reverb, but then some of the consonants get reverb, and it just makes them a lot louder and a lot boomier. And some weird sounds that become emphasized when you do that. So I would prefer not to do that. So I'm actually going to turn that off. Turn off the reverb on all the other channels. Okay, it looks like all the reverb's off. So just reverb on channel 1. Okay, looks good. So click on Word Builder. And my Word Builder comes with the default phrase Hallelujah already entered into the text editor. for this demo, I'm going to delete that and go to phrases and use the Latin phrase Agnus Dei, which is just really well programmed and sounds great. So I'll be using that rather than Hallelujah. You'll get really good results right out of the box if you use that expression. So let's click on that. Obviously, you can, if you learn Votox and you take the time to learn how to use this, you can type in your own words and they'll play back. Alright, so we've loaded in sopranos. Let's go ahead and load in the altos, the tenors, and the basses in the same way, choosing the dynamic mod patch for each of them. Alright, so I have the 4 instances of play loaded and the sounds for each of those. Now what I need to do is configure a manual sound set to make Word Builder work and everything else work. So let's go ahead and use manual sound set, and maybe I'll start up here with the sopranos to do this in order. So click on Use Manual Sound Sets, and then go down to the Sound ID field and click on the box with the 3 dots, 3 periods, and we'll go to Voice, go to Female, go to Soprano, go to Normal, and the Sound ID Voice, period, Female, period, Soprano is created. Then click on Apply, and it's applied to that channel. And just do something similar for each of the parts, obviously using a different sound ID like alto, tenor, and bass, not the same one. So female, alto, normal, apply. Use manual sound sets, voices, male, tenor, normal, apply. Basses, normal, apply. Okay, so now we have created a basic sound ID for each of our voices, and notice that there's a little asterisk after the 4, which means that your playback device configuration hasn't been saved. So click on Save, and that way, if your system crashes while you're working, you don't have to reproduce this, which obviously takes a while. Okay, so we're ready to move on to the next step now. So let's close this, and what we want to do is click on Mixer and tell Sibelius which instruments or which voices go with each staff. So we'll click on this little button here until we see this much of the mixer, and from the second slot, the playback device slot, we're going to click on one version of play per track. So obviously play 1 soprano, so that will be our soprano track. Play 2 is alto, our alto track, our tenor track, and our bass track. Now notice that the third slot has an unallocated sound ID, so we want to allocate it to voice, female, soprano, and channel 1 pops up, which is correct. Female, alto, channel 1, correct. Male tenor, channel 1, correct. Male bass, channel 1, correct. So usually when you're loading up instruments and play in an instrumental context, you might have all of them within the same instance of play, like channel 1, 2, 3, 4, we each have a different instrument. But because Word Builder uses 6 channels just to emulate one voice, like for example the soprano voice, and if you were to put 2 here, you'd only get a part of the sopranos, you wouldn't get like the altos. So and playback would be like completely erratic. So to avoid that, just use channel 1 and use the voice allocation like I showed you. Alright, so now you have that set up, so you can close this off. Sorry, click up here. And now we're ready to add some notes. Alright, so let's go ahead and add some notes. Let's drag that down there. All right, that might sound better. Okay, so obviously we have unused Dei here, and let's go ahead and add some lyrics. Now the lyrics we add have no influence whatsoever on what Word Builder sings. Alright, so this is just for musicians to know what to sing, but Word Builder will only sing whatever is written in its text editor, if you know what you're doing with Votox or English or the phonetic alphabet that Word Builder uses. So this has absolutely no influence on playback. So let's go to, click on the measure to highlight it, go to Home, go to Filter, click on Lyrics. We're just filtering out the lyrics, hitting Control-C to copy them, and then highlighting the alto, tenor, and bass clefs, actually staves, and hitting Control-V to copy and paste the text. Alright, so we have our text now, and I'm just going to copy and paste this example. Alright, so we have two more measures of that unused Dei phrase. And what I want to do is show you how we can create different articulations of the same phrase. Alright, so I'm going to copy the legato or slur markings. Now, we're going to hear something really weird happen when we hit play. You'll notice that, and just to make it even more obvious. Okay, so each of these voices runs through the text, I guess, in the order in which the text appears in text editor. So if I click over here, it said use. It didn't say Dei or day, because that's the last thing I hit was on, and so the second thing is going to be use. And like, so I think you kind of understand what I'm. These words don't tell Word Builder what to sing. It's just going through this little cycle. So to make sure that it starts at the right place, we have to add a text message. Otherwise, this will happen. So obviously that's gibberish. All right, so anyways, what we want to do is create a text command that will tell Sibelius to start the text at the right place. Let me move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to create a text command, which, having read the manual and watched some videos, I know to be tilde, which makes it a hidden command because you don't want like musicians to see this and have to worry about what it means. CC, which is continuous controller, so a MIDI controller, and the specific one is, I think, 21, 127. Now let me show you where that comes from. I'm going to copy and paste it real quick to all the other voices. And go to play to show you where it comes from. Go to setup, go to manual sound sets, go to show, and go to Word Builder, and go to options. Go to events, and here we see return to beginning of the the text, and it's set to CC21, so controller 21, and the on value is 127. So you can make it any value you want, but 127. I guess you could make it 1 if you didn't want to type, and 0 if you want to turn it off, or whatever you want. So if you hadn't run Sibelius in administrator mode, then when you hit OK, you get an error message and your system will freeze. But if you're running in administrator mode, it should work fine. Since everything's fine and I don't need to change anything, I'm going to hit cancel and get out of there. Okay, so we have this message. Now we're going to be able to play this back, and they're all going to be in lockstep. Now let's figure out how to add some dynamics, and so I'm gonna do it over here where there's no text message to interfere. So let's add a forte, and we'll copy that forte. Oops, messed up. Okay, copy that forte and paste it, and then let's add a piano this way. All right, so we have a forte here and a piano here, and Sibelius will not play them back. Let me demonstrate that. Okay, so the reason it won't play it back is because the definition of this symbol in Sibelius is probably connected to key velocity. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing here. And we chose, when we set up this, to use the dynamic mod wheel patch. We chose this patch, which means that dynamics is controlled by the mod wheel, or CC1, controller 1, continuous controller 1. So not velocity. Velocity doesn't control dynamics here. So anyways, in order to set things straight, we actually need to make another control message. I'll just copy that over. We'll call it CC1, which is the mod wheel, and we'll just make this 120. And copy that over here. And we'll make that, say, 46. All right, now I'm going to copy that down here. And on all of these, so we get piano. And let's see, should have done this before. All right, so okay, now don't worry, this won't print out these hidden messages, and if you don't like the way it looks, you can just click here and they go away. Anyways, so now I have piano, forte, piano, and it should play back if I set it up correctly. And you could probably make it more dramatic by changing these controller values. Okay, so what we've done now is we've created 3 measures with text from Word Builder being sung. We've told Word Builder when to start the phrase and got all the voices sort of singing that phrase in lockstep. We've experimented with staccato and with what I'm going to call fake legato. And to explain what I mean, let's go back to Setup, and let's go to Manual Sound Sets, and to Show, and to Word Builder. So within Word Builder, under the letter fields, you have V switches, I guess. I'm not sure what V is, maybe velocity. If you click on these 3 dots, you get to see the key switches. And you can see that there's one for a normal attack, one for legato, one for staccato, one for slurred. So just by way of explanation, the slurs we put in our score are probably, I really doubt that they're triggering this sample or this key switch. So all they're probably doing is connecting the notes and making them smoother as like the way you'd perform notes on a keyboard, is making them smoother by playing them closer together, overlapping them, whatever. So I don't think it's actually triggering the real legato key switch. So I'm calling it fake legato. If you wanted to do that, that would take a little bit more programming, but you could also buy a sound set for $20 or $25, depending on which version of symphonic choirs you have, the normal one or the one with the extension from Voda. And it will be set up for you. You don't have to do all the programming. So this is just a basic tutorial on how to set everything up and get it to work within Sibelius. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below, and see you guys later.